chairman for the Ghana Beyond Aid Committee, the Honorable Deputy Minister of Education, dignitaries here in presence, our dear students, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. His Excellency the President has set for us as a country the vision of Ghana Beyond Aid. And this is underscored by the fact that as a country, we are blessed with the resources needed to make us prosperous, self-reliant, and sustain our own development. But over the years, we have had to rely on support from external sources almost in every facet of our development. Whilst this may be useful, there is a time for us to revisit this narrative of our development and see whether this is something that can be sustained to ensure that we move Ghana from what we envisage it to be to actually attaining the Ghana that we all want. A Ghana that is prosperous, a Ghana that ensures that development is fairly spread, and a Ghana that engages competitively with the rest of the world. This development has become necessary because already the external sources from where these resources come from are beginning to experience shocks of their own. And so if you examine the figures for aid and donor support, either in the form of grants or concessional loans or technical assistance or any form that aid may take, you realize that from 2010, when Ghana attained the lower middle income status, to 2017, all the help we received from external sources in the form of aid had reduced by about 50%. And it is not slowing down. It continues to decrease. So a time has come for us to sit down, look at this, and ask ourselves the simple question: for how long can we wait for external support in order for us to meet our own development aspirations? And so Ghana Beyond Aid is a proactive call on all of us as Ghanaians, devoid of politics, devoid of tribe, to put together and work together and combine our energies and our resources to really create a Ghana that is self-sufficient, that is self-reliant, that is robust, and that is able to create opportunities for people like you. That is what Ghana Beyond Aid is all about. Honorable Senior Minister, the vision of Ghana Beyond Aid is a national call. Because regardless of your political background, we all have the common vision of creating a Ghana we are proud of. A Ghana that creates opportunity for younger generations like ourselves, and a Ghana where no one is left behind. And that is the reason His Excellency the President brought people from all walks of life, including the National Union of Ghana Students, which is heavily represented on the Ghana Beyond Aid Committee that has crafted what we call the Ghana Beyond Aid Charter and Strategy document to help guide our work to the destination of becoming self-sufficient and self-reliant, so that even if we have aid or any form of support from any external source, that support will only complement what we have already been able to mobilize for our own development. Aid may not be a bad thing, but we want aid to speak to our own priorities as a nation. Achieving Ghana Beyond Aid is possible because there is no alternative. An alternative to Ghana Beyond Aid is that let us sit down, let us do little, let us not help ourselves, and always look to external sources and people's benevolence so that we can survive. And as His Excellency the President said, that is not a dignified way to structure how we want to grow as a nation state 63 years after independence. So it's a national responsibility on all of us. We all have a role to play. As students, as stakeholders, we have a role to play, and as the chairman of the committee, the Honorable Yusuf speaks, he will walk us through the expectations on our part as younger generation, which should help in our march towards Ghana Beyond Aid. Ladies and gentlemen, Ghana Beyond Aid is about relying on our own resources and working together with new mindset to really drive our own development, so that together we will create a Ghana that is prosperous, a Ghana where people are empowered, a Ghana which is resilient, so that our progress at developing does not take 3 steps forward and 2 steps back. You have a role to play, and we've gathered here as students because we know that education is a key vehicle through which this vision of developing a self-sufficient Ghana can be attained. I am convinced that the deliberations which will take place today will leave all of us empowered and energized as we all pull together to march towards a Ghana that is self-sufficient. On that note, I want to thank you for your audience. Ask God bless our great country and even makes it stronger. Thank you for your audience. Thank you.
One more time, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause.
We're grateful to you, Dr. Eric Yeboah, the Secretary of the Ghana Beyond Aid Committee, for walking us through, in simple terms, what the Ghana Beyond Aid seeks to achieve. One thing I picked out on is the fact that it's going to create what we call a wiser Ghana. Can I share with you what the wiser Ghana is? How many of you know what the wiser Ghana is? Show my hand. W4. Wealthy. W4. I4. Inclusive. Let's say it together. Inclusive. S4. Sustainable. S4. E4. Empowered. E4. R4. Resilient. R4. So let's say it together. Wealthy, inclusive, sustainable, empowered, and resilient. Put your hands together for yourselves. It is the Ghana Beyond Aid, and this is what we seek to achieve. If you're joining us, we're live from the Great Hall of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, right here in Kumasi, the heart of Asanteman. It is fit and proper that we receive a welcome from the King himself through the Asanteman Cultural Troupe. Ladies and gentlemen, make them welcome with a round of applause. This is how the rich kingdom of Asanteman extends to you its warmth and hospitality through such a rich display of culture and tradition. To this end, this also is Ghana Beyond Aid because it portrays our values, our traditions, our dignity as people with a rich culture and heritage. And I trust that that would also stick as Ghana Beyond Aid. For the next few minutes, what we're going to do is to engage our panelists who would speak from various angles on this theme that we're reflecting on. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to take out your notepads, your notebooks, and make notes because you're going to need these doses of information that will come your way shortly. Are you ready? Then if you're ready as I am, please help me welcome my friends as they join me here. Dr. Yao Osei-Aduchum is the Minister, Deputy Minister of Education. A round of applause as he joins us here. Dr. Fred Shea Asamoah also joins us as the CEO of Corporate. A round of applause. Let's make welcome Mr. Richard Boedu, the admin of the Get Fund, and yours and mine, Madam Sandra Boating, the president of GARSEC. A round of applause for them. Okay. Oh, do you have something against them? Please, a round of applause. As Honorable Deputy Minister and our very esteemed panel, can I please ask that we take our masks off? At least we're safe here. We're socially distant. For the next 30 minutes, what we want to do is to focus on this theme. We have sub-themes that our panelists will be speaking on. We're in a period of COVID. COVID has come to disrupt a lot of things. The way we interact, the way we communicate, everything has been changed totally. One particular aspect of our lives which has been changed is education. Now virtual is the norm. Who would have thought that a few months ago that would become a way of passing on knowledge? But it's here to stay. I want to start with you, the Honorable Dr. Yao Osei-Aduchum. You are the Deputy Minister of Education. You've shown so much leadership in this period with your example as a teacher and an educationist. Post-COVID-19 and the future of education, envisioning a new paradigm for developing globally competitive youth. What's the way to achieve this? In 10 minutes, you have the floor.
Thank you for such a wonderful opportunity. Senior Minister, colleagues from the Ministry of Education and other agencies, I see the PC for TAFO here in the crowd, distinguished guests, our friends from the media, and also Kumasi High School, my sixth form school, they are here. Wow. And all students, because you're all my students too, but I had to acknowledge Kumasi High first. It's a wonderful opportunity to sit here and talk about COVID-19 and its implications. But before COVID-19, where were we? And I think once we begin to understand where we were pre-COVID-19 and talk about Ghana Beyond Aid and where we need to go, then we can situate the conversation very well. Pre-COVID-19, education around the world, so far developing countries were concerned,
were not at a very good place.
Okay.
Around the world in developing countries, there was something that the World Bank called learning poverty. And it defined learning poverty by looking at the percentage of students who are age 10 and could not read for understanding. And this percentage was 53. So around the world in developing countries, 53% of students who were age 10 could not read a simple test and understand it. So before COVID-19, there was a crisis in education around the world. If you look at our nation, Ghana, great strides had been made. But if you look at the human capacity index, it was 0.44, which in a plain language means we were losing 56% of our human capital. That for the generation growing up now, 56% of their human capital and capacity was not being utilized. So before COVID-19, there was a challenge. In fact, a study by the Brookings Institution in the United States indicated that for developing countries to catch up with the developed nations, it was going to take 126 years. And the book was titled Leapfrogging Inequality by Rebecca Winthrop. But certain strategies were recommended. And that is why when you hear of initiatives by His Excellency the President, and when we talk about double track, and I hear some people talk about red, gold, green, 1 year, we'll cancel it. Double track is a leapfrogging strategy so far as access is concerned. Instead of waiting for 126 years before you can catch up with America, you look for a strategy that allows you, even given your limited resources, to still provide access for students. Before free senior high school, before there was something called double track. Now high schools across the country. Then you adopt a leapfrogging strategy, and by the way, in a plain language, leapfrogging, those of you who have grown up in villages, when you go by the riverside and you see a frog, do you see the frog crawling in front of you, walking in front of you? What does it do? It leaps. It leaps so that from you, it will get to its destination faster than you think, even as it runs away from a human being. So in a plain language, you leapfrog to get ahead at a faster pace. So instead of taking 20 years as had been estimated in this country, before you provide free senior high school, you do it in a year. And you get 400,000 more students to go to school. And you implement strategies that enable them get a better outcomes on WASI than when there was no cutoff. So bottom line is, you look at education and you have to begin to look at leapfrogging strategies. If you want to wait for all the science labs to be built so that all students can get access to science, it will take you 120 years probably in this country before you do that. But then you set up an organization called Sendlos. You provide them labs, simulate communities, and science opportunities for them. And fraud as if they were at Kumasi High School. Virtually, through simulation, you are leapfrogging. You guys will have to wait. So the bottom line is this: when we talk about in developing post-COVID, we have to understand that the situation pre-COVID has worsened. And therefore, we need to our efforts in making can't learn. Get access to the content in geography. If our 10 years are not reading, and with COVID, the situation is worsening for those or during COVID is that we look for strategies from where they were to bridge the gap. But how do we bridge the gap? We have to take a look at our problem. And if we're talking about Ghana being building a wealthy, inclusive, sustainable, empowered, and resilient society. You can form an acronym out of that to call WISE. For the first time, we have a just cause. The just cause is not enough for it to talk about freedom and justice. But we need to begin to talk about a wealthy society. You can't talk about justice when there's a poor person and he doesn't have in his bank account, probably doesn't have a bank account. It's when somebody is sick and cannot pay to go to the hospital. Justice. When you have a case and you can't pay to have a lawyer. So when we talk about injustice, unless you create a wealthy, inclusive, sustainable, empowered, and resilient society, our motto, freedom and justice, will not be realized. So when our first president bring capital nation of Africa, a just cause, it was a goal that could be accomplished. But you see, we see that the independence of Ghana is meaningless unless we build a wealthy, inclusive, sustainable, empowered, and a resilient. That is when the independence becomes meaningful to everybody, irrespective of where they are in any part of this country. So I'm excited that today we're talking about Ghana Beyond Aid, and we're talking about all these ideas, and we are looking at what education can do in this process in terms of leapfrogging inequality and putting that in a place where the vision of Ghana beyond Aid. How many minutes do I have? You have two more. Two more. You see, I'm a politician and a teacher, so if you don't remind me, I'll talk. Nothing like this. When we talk about where we were and where we are now, we are not what to be, but we are sure not who we used to be. When you look at the what is called something, that when you do a project strategy like double track, and you bring about strategies, paying so that all students will have extra classes, making sure they are given out to students, also making sure that a longer period of instruction. You see, when people talk about double track, and they forget that double track has given us a longer period of instruction. Instead of 1,080 hours of instruction before double track, we now have 1,134 hours of instruction. Wow. It is therefore no wonder that students have done better.
Exactly.
So if champion is nothing but produce better outcomes. It is a well-thought-out program strategy to really ensure that the vast majority of our students get the opportunity for upward mobility. And that is why now you are going to apply for university, you're going to get the opportunity to apply to the student loan trust fund for your loan. By the time you get to admission, God willing, when Ghanaians give the president another mandate, the implementation of the new policy of student loan trust fund is going to ensure that every student gets the opportunity to actually attend tertiary institution, because you get a student loan, you have 2 years period, you pay for it after you graduate and you secure a job, and that is the direction that this nation needs to go, and that is what we need to do in order to attain a society of beyond aid, in order for us to attain a wiser society. And that is the new just cause of this country. That is where this country is heading. And we are turning back. Turn back, Ghanaians will move forward, and together we'll create a society where the poor and the rich have a level playing field where when we come together, we come to celebrate each other based on our accomplishment, and we don't come to look at how somebody has gotten ahead of us because they happen to be connected, because they happen to be rich. And when we come together, it's going to be that we created a sustainable, empowered society, and that society is giving equal opportunity to all. And that is the kind of Ghana that I believe everyone of us will be in, and the kind of Ghana that I'm excited about every single day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yao Oseyeduchum, Deputy Minister of Education. If you're just joining us, it's a very, very important conversation we're having on Ghana Beyond Aid. We're looking at it through the lenses of education at the heart of attaining a Ghana Beyond Aid. We're taking stock of the progress we've made, and we're looking into the future with optimism. I would like us to do something. Can we please try our mics to see if they're working? It seems this cordless mic is not Ghana Beyond Aid compliant. Hello. I think. Hello. Yeah. Is yours on? Not on. Please.
Hello.
Okay.
Yes.
Yours is on. No, yours is on.
Hello. Maybe. Open it up.
Could you please? Okay. And so, Doc, you've walked us through the historical antecedents to, the Ghana Beyond Aid, and most especially before COVID. This actually leads us to COTFIT. Now, you are established primarily to coordinate and oversee the technical vocational education system that produces a globally competitive workforce through the quality-oriented and demand-driven learning for national development. Let's take it step by step. Let's look at where the Deputy Minister left off. Let's examine propelling our march to Ghana Beyond Aid through technical, vocational, and skills development. In an era of COVID, how are we going to achieve this?
Thank you very much. Honorable Senior Minister, Honorable Deputy Minister, colleague, CEOs, heads of USTs, leadership of youths, students, I'm excited to be back to my alma mater. That's where it all started. And it's no wonder UST is the best university in Ghana. But it's true. And I'm proud to share that platform with the Honorable Senior Minister, who also is an alma mater of this great university. And also to share this stage with the next generation of leaders of this country needs. It's right if you look at the theme, education being at the heart of Ghana Beyond Aid. And for every human being, your heart controls everything. Sure. The only time a person is pronounced dead is when your heart ceases to work. Therefore, education cannot be underestimated. And we all know education is the key. And it's also been proposed that technical and vocational education is the master key. So therefore, we need to take special interest in TVET. So there's no reason why we cannot agree with the organizers and the Ghana Beyond Aid Committee to state that if we can propel towards independence, real independence, and Ghana Beyond Aid, then technical and vocational education should be the propeller. We all know, if we cast back our minds back to history, the Ghana Empire, the Mali and the Swan Empire couldn't withstand the invasion of our colonial masters. And they bequeathed to us grammar education, and that is what we pride ourselves in. Since independence, we have invested so much in education, but TVET hasn't seen much. If we look at countries like Germany, United States, China, Japan, and the rest, the superpowers, all of them are taking so much interest in technical and vocational education. So it's not by mistake that when you go to Germany, over 70% of their young ones opt for technical and vocational education. Whilst when you come to our situation in Ghana here, is before 2017 it was awful and we're way below 5%. I'm excited that the free technical and vocational education under the free secondary education has given 65,000 young Ghanaians opportunity to go through the formal TVET. What was the situation before 2017? We have a system that nobody cared about TVET that much. There hasn't been enough investment into TVET. Neither did we look at the policy environment of our TVET system. Just with COVID-19, realized that Ghana was struggling and putting in pressure to produce most of our products locally. Why? It's because for every workplace that you go, you require not less than 80% of technical and vocational education. So if we have below 10% of our young ones going into TVET, and every workplace requires more than 80% or a minimum of 80% to be successful, then it doesn't align for us as a country. So that is why the government in 2017 decided to do a SWOT analysis of the entire system and to come out with a 5-year strategic plan, which from 2018 we've been implementing it. Before 2017, there have been TVET institutions across various ministries, over 19 ministries. So the question is, why is it that almost 19 ministries are involved in TVET, but our admission towards our TVET sector is below 10%? So we looked at 5 policy objectives that we had to work on. One was to look at the governance and management of TVET. 2 is to look at the quality of our TVET system and how it's responding to the industry. 3 is how do we increase access? Because for all the countries that are doing well, let's take for instance Malaysia. In the 80s we were almost at par with them, but they have gone through 8 5-year strategic plans, and now their unemployment level is low. And I believe during the COVID situation they were not struggling the way we had to struggle to produce face masks and other things. I'm looking through the crowds right now and I can see most of the face masks people are wearing, probably including mine. It's important. And these are skills that is not high complex skills that we could have produced it here. It's because one, our TVET system was not responding to what the industry needs. So government said with the 5-year strategic plan, whilst we are looking at the governance and management of TVET, let's look at the quality, look at access, let's look at funding for TVET, and how can we ensure sustainability as far as our environment is concerned. So with the quality, which is very critical, we have to look at what does the industry want. What is the industry looking up to? The only way the local environment and the local economy can propel up is to have a skill set that is supporting the local industry. Most of the products we are importing from China is not because of the special company, it's because of the skilled nature of its populace, its citizen, each young one, the future of the generation, future generation. That is why they're able to produce such products. So let's look at the quality of our TVET. And the quality of our TVET will mean that the industry has to tell us what kind of products we should give them. And to do that, we have to categorize them into sectors. That is why the government is saying that if TVET is what is going to make Ghana beyond it possible, then we have to have sector skill bodies. And these sector skill bodies will be bodies from the various sectors. And as I'm talking to you now, government has started working with 12 of them. 3 of them have already been inaugurated. That is sector skill body for construction, for the agriculture sector, and for tourism and hospitality. And we are currently working with the 9 others to make sure that by the end of first quarter next year, we would have integrated all these sector skill bodies. They do the labor market intelligence and tell us the kind of skills they need, the competence they need. So our training and our curriculum will be set up to meet that requirement. Then the training will not be done by only the training institutions, but it will be done by both the training institution and the industry. So by the time we finish, and by the time we set up curriculums that are responding to the industry, we will end up training only demand skills, not just training everybody. Because there are many times that students come out of our schools and they say there's no job. But if we are training to meet the demand of the industry, there won't be complaints from the industry to say that we don't have enough in this sector or we have oversupply. So that is the quality aspect of it. Then we come to access. If we are saying TVET is the panacea, is the pure heart for our Ghana Beyond Aid agenda, then we have to have infrastructure to support it. So for the first time, we have seen close to or over $700 million being invested in infrastructure for TVET. That is why the establishment of 2 new TVET centers are going on, and Parliament and government has approved resources to start the first and second phase. If you come to Kwame Nkrumah University here, now we are building a foundry and machining center. We have the largest, possibly the largest auto repair center, which is Swami Magazine, in the entire sub-Saharan Africa. And it's right here. So government is saying, let's build a foundry and machining center here. So our students can learn about molding, so that if your magazine wants some parts and other things, we can help them, not only to service cars that we are importing, but we can also establish the manufacturing hub here. And we have Ghanaians working in them, but not to bring experts like do happening in the oil and gas industry. So now we have VW assembling. A time may come that the various parts of VW has to be produced here. The foundry and the machining center, one that is being done at USD, one that is being done at CSR, is going to help our young ones not just be academicians, but be skilled people. In as much we are doing this, it's about perception issue. That is why government has made a conscious effort to also market and promote technical and vocational education. For the first time, Ghana is a member of the World Skills International, and it's an international body, which is the Olympic body for skills development across the world. Being a member of this World Skills International will not only afford the young Ghanaian opposition or the ability to compete with other colleagues across the world, but also will help us to be innovative enough to come out with skills. During the skills competition, you have students at that competition putting together drones themselves and building it. If students from Ghana is able to do the same, we won't end up importing our drones, but not only that we will have the drones here, but we will be producing them within the country. Wow. So this is what government is doing, so that as far as perception is concerned, we can move from below 10% to about 50% and above. When we get there, and I always say, the Ghana Beyond Aid is just around the corner.
Dr. Samuel, much as I'm enjoying you, I beg you, you have 1 minute remaining. Wrap up on the funding. I will go hard on my friend from Get Fund. So please just wrap it up for me.
So to wrap up, what we are doing as a country, we are encouraging all students and all stakeholders and to support what government is doing, so that this country can build more technical and vocational skills to support the Ghana Beyond Aid agenda. If we're able to do that, then the Transport and Logistics Center will be here in Ghana. And it will be one that will be as competitive as the one in Dubai or the one in Germany or the one in China. If we are able to build enough skills, then our pharmaceutical center will be the one that will be producing skills to support it. If we being able to do that, that is where our agricultural sector, the automotive industry, in fact, the banking and financing, one of the last sectors we are working on is banking and financing. When you go to Germany and when you go to Switzerland, their financing and banking and financing sector is hugely supported by technical and vocational education. And that is what government wants to do, so that we can encourage more students to opt for TVET. Not only that you are getting skills, but you can support entrepreneurship in the country. When you skill one person, you can place one. But when you skill and you add entrepreneurship, you can place four. And just to add that quickly, that is why government has established first ever University of Skill Training and Entrepreneur Development to make sure that we can train more teachers to support the technical and vocational education sector of our country.
Brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause. Dr. Fred Samoa, CEO of the Corvette. And if you're watching us online, it's the first of its kind, the Ghana Beyond Aid Committee in collaboration with the Ghana National Union of Students, or the National Union of Ghana Students, I beg your pardon, as we bring to you this important forum where we talk about education at the heart of attaining a Ghana Beyond Aid. We're taking stock of our past and we're projecting into the future. For those of you who have been listening, our students here, how many of you want to go into skills-oriented careers? Show by hand. La ilaha bismillah rahman. You all want to be doctors, architects.
That is competency-based. That is the reality.
You weren't listening. Dr. Asamoah said that 80% of technical and vocational skills are needed in every workplace. You might want to note that and think on it while we engage our friend from Get Fund. Get Fund, now you have been very instrumental in funding a lot of educational infrastructure and things like that. But we want to know, transforming the education landscape through strategic financing, investment and infrastructure development. How are we going to ensure that this is possible, especially in a time like this, COVID? What will become of all the classrooms you've built? What will become of all those investments which are not in use right now?
Thank you. Honorable Minister, Senior Minister, Honorable Deputy Minister for Education, my colleague CEO, who is celebrating his birthday today. And students who are here. You've asked a good question, but in my answer to the question, I may let people know the role of NUCs in GET Fund. Actually, the establishment of the GET Fund Act, NUCs played an important role. There was student agitation around that time, and based on that, and a very innovative thing fell on Ghana, and in the year 2000, Parliament approved the GET Fund Act, where 2.5% of VAT proceeds were set aside for GET Fund for infrastructure development and then supporting the education sector. NUCs is one of the agencies or the representation on our 17-member board. So NUCs plays an important role in the how the fund is administered. Over the years, the 2.5% that is awarded in terms of VAT to the GET Fund has been used, and there has been a lot of infrastructure development in the country. But I would like to say that next year, GET Fund will be clocking 20 years. It has not all been rosy. When I assumed the office in 2017, I found out that there were a lot of projects in the system, but there wasn't fund to commensurate the projects that have been scattered over the period. Award of scholarship. Sorry, I'm not talking about scholarship because I know that majority of you, if I had to change the topic into scholarship, that would be something that you all want to know. And I think if I should ask a question here for you to raise your hand, those who would like me to change and let you know how you can access scholarship, a lot of you would raise your hands. But today it is for infrastructure development. What I saw at that time when we took over as the board, there were about over 3,900 thereabout projects that were ongoing. Projects being built at that time were like how our parents do their building. They just give a school to 12-unit classroom block, allocate it to a contractor. Another agency under the ministry also does same, and you can find two same projects being funded by Get Fund in one school. But it is when an IPC is raised, the interim payment certificate allows a contractor to assess whatever he spent. It is when that comes on that you get to know that there are two duplications of contracts all over the Ghana. So there were the management put in a measure, and that measure is yielding dividend for currently. The first one was to put a freeze on all contracts that have been awarded all over Ghana. We streamlined the process of awarding. So Get Fund provides a funding budget, and then it is the ministry, the regional coordination, and the district assemblies that award on behalf of Get Fund. I would like you to remember that Get Fund, we don't award contracts at our end. After the streamlining, there were two lines of contracts that we identified. Post 2017, that is contract that were awarded before 2017. We put it in a bucket. It was way above our budget that we had. At 2017, we were owing contractors to the tune of 838 million. Those were IPCs that were ready at Get Fund. Projects that were ongoing, we call it our commitment, was also 2.7 billion Ghana cedis. When you add it up, it's about 3.5 billion Ghana cedis. Our annual inflow was in the region of 1 billion Ghana cedis. So, if we are to continue, and then even the old projects you decide to pay, you can sit, fold your arms, do the payment for those contracts, and in 4 years, nothing could have been done, because it means 4 or 5 years. There's a factor that I also explained. You sit there and then you pay. Just the agencies under the ministry also have the budget line in that. So I always said that I'm a businessman. I come from the private sector, so I brought that idea onto the funding. And what I did at that time was, let us use our proceeds, projected proceeds that we can get in the future, and then use that as a collateral, and then go onto the market and then go and borrow. That is the idea of the securitization. And by so doing, I quite remember that one of the arguments that I put forward was that the Building and Road Research Institute of Ghana did a research in 2017, and then came out that a component that adds to the price build-up in construction, 40 to 70% on an average a year is paid on completion of projects. 42, that is on an average. For the public sector, it is over 200 and students in here can attest to the fact that there are projects that were started long before they came in, but still it is what? It is an ongoing project. An example is the Legon the School of Arts. It started when I was doing my national service some time back, but it is still ongoing. And price that starts, a contract price that is about 2 million ends up being 42 million in 10 years. So how can we develop a nation like that? Building the way like how our fathers do. When the person gets some small amount at the end of the year, he adds this to it. Then the following year, you add this to it. So your father starts a building and then completes it in the next 50, or when he is going to pension, that is when he finishes the building for him to get in. Public sector building should not be done in that way. So using that, if I go onto the market and I go at a commercial rate of 20%, then based on that research, even using the money or the minimum of 40%, the cost in fluctuation, it means that I make a savings of what? 20%. So that is what? Wise borrowing. And based on that, we did and then we projected, and it was approved by Parliament, first by Cabinet and Parliament, and now we have 1.5 billion US dollar, the city equivalent, to do massive infrastructure in the education sector. That is how come in every school, I can say that every secondary school now in Ghana, you have a project going on. Thanks to this initiative.
Much as, we're appreciative of, how far we've come and the strides we've made, is it sustainable?
Yes, I will say that it is sustainable.
In 2 minutes, walk us through.
Yeah. When we look at the bond that we took, it's for a medium term of 7 years.
Okay.
And by 7 years, we would have finished paying the bond that we took. And not only building that we're talking about. Presently, almost every school has a pickup. Every secondary school, we've given them pickup. There are buses that we also, through the Ministry of Education, that will also being shared across the country.
Okay.
There are buses, the 65-seater buses, that is also coming on. There are motorbikes for circuit supervisors. Debt Fund is also funding, is also assisting the agencies under the ministry.
Okay.
And they are all now functioning. Talk about TVET, talk about NACA, National Curriculum, talk about almost every agency under the ministry. They are now working again.
This is more like a rebranding of Get Fund. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together. Wow. But you see, on the back of all this, how does it translate to you, the students in school? Let's ask one of your very own who represents you here as the president of the Greater Accra Students Representative Council. Mr. Have we left anybody behind? From all that has been said, is there anybody who has been left behind? You don't think so? So my question to you is this: leaving no one behind, what progress in to promote education. Is the mic here, please? It's been taken away.
The senior minister, distinguished dignitaries, and everyone present. I'm very glad for this opportunity, being a student leader and also a beneficiary of the free SHS. I'm very happy to share this. A lot has happened. We being free SHS. I call myself a free SHS graduate.
Can we have a handheld mic for her, please? Just a cordless mic, that will do. That's what happens when your sound man doesn't do morning devotion. In a short while, we get to hear from our guest of honor, the senior minister, as he delivers the keynote, after which we shall engage you, our students, and other stakeholders on this very important topic that we're deliberating on. If you're set, let's hear from you. Oh, fearful. Just bring a handle, please. Just bring a cordless mic. Please, in 5, in 4, in 3, in 2, and in 1. Please, a round of applause for them as they bring the cordless mic. Sound man.
Thank you very much. Whatever happens, I'll still share my. With the issue of free SHS and inclusive education, I'm a beneficiary of the free SHS and I'm very, very glad because if not for free SHS, I would term free SHS a lifesaver because I wouldn't want to use myself as an example.
Please stop. Mr. Soundman, bring the cordless mic. Fatusu. Quick attention. A round of applause for him. Please continue.
I would want to use myself as an example. At the time where our BEC results came in, and we were looking forward to going to senior high school. For me, my mom is a fishmonger and there is no money at home.
Okay.
I have 2 elder siblings who are not able to go to school because my mom could not provide for their SHS fees and other utilities. So I was very, very happy when I got to hear that the president is bringing on board a free SHS policy. And indeed, it has helped my colleagues and I, because looking at where we come from, we not having anything, sometimes I listen to certain stories that my friends tell me that if not for free SHS, they would have been at home. If not for free SHS, they wouldn't have been able to call themselves graduate today. So I'm very, very happy that the free senior high school came on board because it has come to save lives. And I know there are a lot of senior high schools here who are facing challenges, real challenges, that if not for the free senior high school, they wouldn't have been able to be what they are today. I wouldn't have been able to call myself a student leader at all because the free senior high school, me going through school, realizing that my fees are taken care of, my books, everything are taken care of. I'm going to get a sound mind to be able to study and on top of it, aspire for a position and bring out my talent. I'm very, very happy about it. And it It has really been a lifesaver for me. But looking forward, we are talking about taking stock of our progress, looking into the future. Ghana has a dream, the Ghana Beyond Aid dream. We want to call ourselves self-reliant. Ghana wants to do things on their own. But before we begin to think about all these things, what are we looking at? We are looking at training the human resource of our country. Because if the minds are not developed, if knowledge are not brought out, if students are not able to develop on their own, because we realize that the students out here, everyone here, we are looking at Ghana's future here. Everyone here is Ghana's future. So if we don't invest in Ghana's future today, Ghana might not have a tomorrow. That is why the free SHS was brought about, and we are looking at the free SHS helping each and every student, equipping them, developing them to bring out everything they have in them, the talents they have in them, the potentials, to be able to look into the future and say that yes, Ghana have great minds to be able to look up to and develop and help out with the Ghana Beyond Aid dream we are talking about. When it comes to inclusive education, we know that there are some students who are deprived, there are some that are blind, there are some that are crippled. So even though they can't go through the normal process we go through as students, there could be ways that we could tailor our education model so as to be able to fit and give out a collective progress. So they being blind or deaf or something, we can't say we are excluding them, or they cannot help out, or they can't, we won't say they are not part of society. Because if you look at abroad, America and other things, we have blind people that do a lot of things. That is why I would like to say that if these people that are blind, that don't have what they have, what it takes, we bring in the TVET, we bring in the training and the technical skills, that we put in systems that they could be able to learn and be able to bring out their talents, even though they are physically challenged or they are deprived. So we could look at ways that we could bring them on board, help them out, so that in the end, even though we've been able to look at the standpoint for education, we have included those that we think we cannot include. Yes.
Amazing perspectives you've brought. But ladies and gentlemen, this is where we take a break and we hear from the senior minister, after which we shall return, we shall conclude and revert to you for your questions, for your suggestions and whatnot. Please help me say a very big thank you to my panel as they take their seats. A round of applause. So let's go on a little break. We'll be right back. Let's have a little spot of music and bring the lectern as we introduce our guest of honor. sufficient. We are simply looking at attitudinal change of the system. If we have any single problem, one single problem in Ghana, it is our mindset. People would want to go to office, not only will they get there late, but will also close early. And I was telling somebody that if a German, instead of getting to office at 8, gets there at 10 because it was raining, if he is to close at 5, he will close at 7. So that the number of hours he makes up. The Ghanaian will get there late and close early. That's the difference between us and the German. And therefore, Ghana Beyond Aid calls for attitudinal change, a new mindset to enable us serve this nation better. But you can't do any of these things without adequate training. And therefore, education is critical within Ghana Beyond Aid. So the topic, education at the heart of attaining Ghana Beyond Aid, taking stock of our progress, looking into the future here at KNUST is apt, and we should all think through it. Ladies and gentlemen, no country has ever developed on the back of ignorant citizens. It doesn't happen. All the countries which have developed have trained their youth. They train, and therefore they are developing at the back of trained minds. They are training people and they are benefiting from skills of their own citizens. Education is the foundation of a nation building, advancement of civilization, and the surest way to ensure upward social mobility of the system. Our most important resource for us as Ghanaians is our human capital. And therefore, one of the single most important interventions of any government of Ghana is the free SHS. During our time, a few people will get scholarship based on merit to secondary school. It means they enjoyed free SHS. But very few, a small percentage. I had a full scholarship to Achimota School, but many people did not. And therefore, yes, I would say I had a free SHS, but it wasn't universal. Today, it is. And kudos to Nana Adobangwa Akufo-Addo. The Ghana Beyond Aid, when he defined it, gave it a very interesting definition. He said, a Ghana Beyond Aid is a prosperous and self-confident Ghana that is in charge of her economic destiny. A transformed Ghana that is prosperous enough to be needing aid, prosperous enough to be beyond needing aid, and that engages competitively with the rest of the world through trade and investment. You can only be competitive when you have skills. You can only be competitive when you have trained minds. We want a situation where a Ghanaian scientist, a Ghanaian engineer competes with a German, a Japanese, a Nigerian, South African, because they all have trained minds. So we want to be competitive. As the earlier speakers have highlighted, government is harnessing effectively our human resource capacity by one, bringing meaningful and strategic transformation in the field of technical vocational education and training, and expanding access by making TVET free as part of the free SHS. One mentioned the technical vocational education institutions were spread in 19 ministries. How can you standardize? how can you focus when your technical education is spread within 19 different ministries? And there were 289 different technical institutions. So which ministry is harmonizing? Which ministry is standardizing? Which ministry is providing leadership? None. Therefore, our technical education was seriously being mismanaged. It was not going right. And therefore, we have to have a special committee, and I chair that committee, to regularize the whole TVET system and give it a leadership, give it standardization, give it harmonization, so that we move in unison with development and with technology. So today we having technical education, which is now organized, and we congratulate the Ministry of Education for now establishing a deputy minister responsible for TVET. We also have now in our statutes a Director General of Technical Education. We have put too much emphasis on humanities, on liberal education. We must put equal emphasis on technical education so that we can become competitive. All these investments that we are making can only do if we are able to do one, research and development. And research and development means our science, technology, engineering, and mathematics must be strong. And technical and vocational and training must also be abreast with modern times. The decision of government to put education at the heart of national development is therefore important and on course. Students here gathered. His Excellency the President places considerable premium on the youth and nooks. Indeed, the Ghana Beyond Aid Committee has a representative from nooks, and this has helped to ensure that the Ghana Beyond Aid's character has also taken into consideration the youth. You can imagine if you left Ghana Beyond Aid to my age group to plan, the chances are that they will not know what is going on down there. So we have a whole range of the age bracket to think through for the future. And the NUS president on the Ghana Beyond Aid Committee, I'm happy to say, is very sharp and contributes very effectively to our discussions. Kudos. The government will continue to develop plans and policies which reflect the applications of the youth and students. Because this country cannot develop competitively if we do not put emphasis on the development of the youth and science and technology. If we do that, then the youth must also be ready to allow themselves to be developed. The youth should allow themselves to be carried along with the government policy. The youth should therefore spend time and study. I was so happy 3 days ago when I heard that the results of the free SHS group was very good. But what was relevant about it, maybe if you paid attention, that the results of mathematics was the best for the past 6 years. Which is a development in the right direction. And I think we should continue. Those of you in your second and third year, now learn from those who just finished. Be strong in mathematics, be strong in English language. When you are strong in these two, the rest follow. The rest follow. Don't ignore them. But if you are strong in mathematics, you are strong in English, the rest follow. You make sure that you also get through them. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our commitment to expanding education and creating world-class workforce is a public record. Whilst we are celebrating this today, I must be quick to add that training and technical attitude young generation alone is not sufficient to achieve Ghana Beyond Aid. The vision of Ghana Beyond Aid is a call to embrace a new mindset, as I said earlier, where there's greater commitment to values such as patriotism and love for the nation. Place Ghana first. 2, honesty in dealing with each other and with the nation. 3, being law-abiding. 4, discipline, hard work, respect for time, and prudence in the use of national assets and resources. The respect for time is relevant because sometimes we lose so many man-hours. There is a function a minister is to address, and the function starts at 10. So many heads of departments and other ministers have gathered. The minister comes at 11 o'clock. And therefore, the number of people in the room, so if they are about 800, we have 800 man-hours lost. All those in the room have wasted an hour of time of doing something. And that is not good enough for the country. Eschewing ethno-tribal considerations and excessive partnership which impairs our collective progress. We are Ghanaians first before Ashanti, Achim, Ever or anything. And if we think along those lines, it's good for our national development. And I appeal to the youth to always think themselves as Ghanaians first before all the others. We were born somewhere, so you belong to something. I'm a Christian just because my parents were Christians. Basically, I didn't have a choice. I'm an Achim because my parents were Achims. I didn't have a choice. But I'm born in Ghana. I'm Ghanaian. That's very fundamental. That's universal. And that is where I should put the emphasis. We must maintain clean environment and safety in our communities. I think we all know what is happening. This COVID has improved our hygiene because now we wash our hands many times a day. We distance, we wear masks, we do all these things, and thank God, Ghana, because of the leadership we have enjoyed in fighting against the COVID has not overpowered us. And the way things are going, we're doing well and will continue to do well. The moment the COVID broke up on the 13th of March in Ghana, the president established immediately 4 committees because the COVID has a medical dimension. That is the main thing. It's medical, it kills. But it affects the economy because certain sectors of the economy are seriously affected by COVID, like your hotels. You close your borders, you stop all your flights, who will come and stay in your hotel? So all our first-class hotels were locked down in March to April. So you can imagine all the revenue we receive from the hotels, and those revenues are in dollars because our big hotels charge in dollars. The Minister of Finance forwent all of them. We didn't have that inflow. Can you imagine the effect on the working force at the hotels? There was no work. After some time, the hotels couldn't afford to be paying people if there are no guests in the hotels. So we begin to have unemployment. We've introduced wearing masks. We stopped going to churches. We stopped funerals. This is our normal social interventions. And if you tell the older people, don't go to church, don't go to funerals, sociologically you are confusing them. You are making them uncomfortable. They enjoy doing those things. But we were forced to change our social habits because of this disease. So the disease has all the 3 dimensions. It's medical because it kills, it's health. It is economic because it affects many economic systems adversely. and it has affected our social life very badly. But so far, we are managing it and we continue to manage it. As government is investing in your education and helping to build a future of hope, you have a personal responsibility to enhance these values and let it permeate every facet of your life. We need technically sound population who are also upright, because no country has developed on the back of indiscipline and lawlessness. Embrace a renewed mindset as we pursue the vision of Ghana Beyond Aid. Ladies and gentlemen, the government has demonstrated phenomenal leadership, which has ensured students and staff return to school in a safe and secure environment during the peak of the COVID-19. Schools were all closed, but we have to find a way of sending you back. If you do not manage COVID well, most of our youth will lose a year in their life. Or they will lose one academic year, and that is not good for Ghana. It affects the tertiary to the kindergarten. So we have to arrange in such a way that you get back to school and you are protected. So you may recall that when you were called, everybody was given 3 face masks, everybody was given a sanitizer. We have to provide, and that costs money. But we have to do it. Now we are all going to go back in January. Schools will reopen. We have to reopen schools and provide all the COVID protocols. But we make sure that government support your protection by providing all the COVID inputs to enable you go to school and go to learn. One thing which impressed me most was that, Mr. Moderator, I was asked to chair the committee on the school reopening and in the supply of masks and sanitizers. And somebody quickly said, we needed so many millions of sanitizers, bottles. We needed so many masks, so many things. So we needed to import them. And the committee said, no importation of anything. Let us here and now beginning to think about Ghana Beyond Aid. What can we do to produce these items locally? I am happy to say that many of our alcoholic companies converted themselves into sanitizer production companies, and they managed to supply the whole country with all the sanitizers we need for the occasion. So Ghana never imported a single sanitizer from outside this country for the period. That is Ghana Beyond Aid. We decided that our garment industries should sew the masks, and they sewed. And so far, people bring some from overseas, but all those that we supply to schools, we sew them locally. That is Ghana Beyond Aid. As has been said before, Ghana Beyond Aid is talking about a wiser Ghana. The moderator went through it very well with you. The W means wealthy Ghana, inclusive Ghana, sustainable Ghana, empowered Ghana, and resilient Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, and be a wiser Ghana. Thank you.
The Senior Minister, a resounding round of applause. We're grateful to you, sir, for your depth of insights that you've brought to bear in this discussion. We thank you for spelling out so well the essence of the Ghana Beyond Aid. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, a round of applause. And so it's my pleasure to invite back my panel for a time of questions and answers. Please, a round of applause for my panel as they come back. Dr. Yao Seyeduchum, Dr. Fred Yasamwa, Mr. Richard Boydu, and Sandra Boateng. Wow. And so the Senior Minister has put it all in context. The underlying themes are simple. We're talking values. Values of honesty, of integrity, values of respect, And then we talk about mindset of pride, of nationalism, love for country. All this would translate into sustainable development. As for development, anytime we'll have development, but would it be sustainable if we don't have values and if we don't have the correct mindsets? We're here now to finish off our conversation, but this is where we'd like to engage you after all you've heard and all that you've experienced also. What do you have to tell us? What do you want the whole of Ghana to know on a day like this? Please raise your hand. Ask your question by first identifying yourself and shoot straight to your question. We don't want any MP3 question. Make it a simple audio file, straight to the point. Can we do that? Okay, so we will take 5 in the beginning and then we'll come to the panel and then revert for the final 5. I see the first hand here in the middle. And so we have a mic right in the aisle. Please come to the aisle and ask your question. The first 5, yes. One mic here and another behind. So I'll take one from here, one from there. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Please, I am Alhassan Idrisu Abdullah from UDS, Gaza. My question basically is to my favorite minister, Dr. Yao Osai Otejuchu. In fact, free SHS is a lifesaver, but beyond free SHS, what is the plan in making education in Ghana generally affordable, most particularly postgraduate studies in Ghana? For instance, I have a colleague, as at the time I was getting into the university for my postgraduate studies, who was taking an equivalent postgraduate program somewhere in Europe, and he was paying 400 Ghana cedis equivalent at the country that he was offering the program. And if we were to compare that to what we had to pay in Ghana, that was more like the percentage I cannot quantify standing here. So what is the plan?
Okay.
Beyond free SHS for the Ghanaian child, and I believe that would have a role in molding us becoming patriotic citizens and with the right set of values to develop our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Abdullah. Let's take one from the back.
Good afternoon. My name is Ruby Kojo Imano, former SRC Vice President from the University of Health and Allied Sciences School. My question is basically about the technical skills and training programs. It is quite unfortunate when we ask our second cycle institutions here who has the interest in pursuing training skills and technical skills program, none of them to raise their hands. It's quite pathetic, and I want to recommend that much sensitization should be carried on in our second cycle institutions. Now in Ghana, every parent wants his or her ward to be at the medical school, at the nursing school, at the pharmacy school, and other staffs, neglecting these technical and skills training centers that we have in Ghana. So I want much to be put into this, the sensitization and the education, right from the basic schools and the second cycle institutions, so that much will be interested in the technical and in the skills training program. And secondly, National Science and Maths Quiz is a very interesting program that unites the whole of Ghana together. Not long ago, a post was circulating on social media that science and math students were doing National Science and Maths Quiz. Home econs students were at McBrown's Kitchen, and visual arts students were doing other stuffs. The mockery that comes with when someone is pursuing a technical program in Ghana is quite pathetic. So I think something should be done about this, or it should be looked at. Because once you are in the technical or skills training institution, we see you as someone who is inferior, someone who can't do better, someone who is mentally, let's say, retarded or something else. And I think now that we want to be beyond age and we are looking at the technical and the skills training center, much should be done about that. Thank you very much.
Your name again, please.
My name is Robe Kojo Imano.
Mr. Robe. Okay. Next question, please.
Good morning. Please, my name is Gabi Choi Jr.
Your voice is on low battery.
All right, thank you. My name is Gabriel Atachwe, and then I'm a former PRO of the K University SLC. I'm also a former PRO of the University Student Association of Ghana. I think my question centers around what the last speaker said. You know, when you made mention of the fact that how many of our young people want to be in the TVET, virtually no hand went up. So I want to ask the Honorable Deputy Minister, he is very, well-versed when it comes to matters of education, that what other strategies is the Ministry of Education going to put in place to attract so many young people into the TVET unit of education? And I also want to chip in this, that I have a personal experience. Even when I was in junior high school, my headmaster felt that I am a shark. Therefore, science is for me even at the high school. So I want the ministry to also come out with some kind of counseling unit so that when the young people are not forced into some sector of their learning or of training, facts, but they will be allowed to do what they think that they will be better, become if they are allowed to really work in that particular field. So I think an eye should be at the basic level so that the headmasters and people in higher authority would not necessarily force their daughter students, even at some programs, even at the high school. Thank you so much.
The name again, please.
Gabriel.
Thank you very much. We'll go to the back.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon, sir.
My name is Kingsley J, Central University. Taking a cue from what Dr. Chei Asamoah said, I think he said at the point in his speech that now education is the key, but the TVET is the master key. Then I come back to the speech of Honorable Senior Minister saying that we have paid too much attention to the humanities vis-a-vis higher education, if I'm getting him right. But my question is, when we look at the development of these big nations, so when you take, for example, the pharmaceutical industry, there are people who do the researches in the higher institutions, and that is all basic to even before anybody can say they are putting something together, which is the technical skills. So my question is, there cannot be a disjoint something that the, let's say, higher institutions are doing their own thing, and say the technical education or vocational education are also doing their own thing. So my simple question is, where is the connection? Who is doing this connection? So I heard the senior minister saying they came and they regularized the TVET, our technical education. I think in a much, similar way, some of these things should be regularized. Our professors, sometimes I listen to Dr. A.C. Kaufman. She's a biomedical engineer. She specializes in tissue engineering. Before a medical device is being produced, there are professors, doctors who does these researches. And I don't think the technical or vocational education can come up with these researches. They have to be done by this higher education. These are serious knowledge. And it all has to be synchronized. Who is doing this? This is my simple question.
So if we get you right, you're asking where is the connection between TVET and the traditional academic curriculum?
Yes.
And who is ensuring that connection?
And where is the role of the government?
Thank you.
Because they have to fund it.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I am Quincy Alote from University of Ghana. My question is, how would the Ghana Beyond Aid initiative reduce the rate of borrowing of this country as the future is concerned? Because you could see that anytime there's a change of government or anytime a new government comes into power, there's this notion that the previous borrowed more than the current one. My question is, how will this Ghana Beyond Aid reduce the borrowing as we go forward as a nation?
Thank you. I think, we have a student here. The first SHS student.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Lamte Bashir. I've here, Mr. Edicho described double track as a leapfrog strategy. And I've heard him talking about this issue on many platforms. I would like to find out from him exactly the specific time frame he's working towards as he seeks to abolish the so-called leapfrog strategy or double track from the senior high school. Thank you so much.
Could you please clarify? We couldn't hear you.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to take the mask off?
Okay. My point has to do with, he described a double track as a leapfrog strategy.
Yes.
I would like to find out from him the specific time frame he's working towards as he wants to abolish the double track from the senior education system.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so we have some questions, we have some suggestions. Let me throw it to the panel and then we'll see. Abdullah talks about what's the plan to make education affordable in Ghana beyond free SHS, especially for postgraduate education. Who wants to take that?
I think the microphone.
The mic, we need the cordless, please.
Are we back on? I think I'm back on.
Yours is working? Sandra? Still? Doc?
Hello. Mine is
Doc's okay. It's in the middle.
Thank you, moderator. I think I'll take the last question, talking about double track. When the president announced double track in Tamale, in a very cool Tamale evening, I remember very well, like yesterday, he told the whole nation that double track will be over within 5 to 7 years. Now it's 3 to 5 years. And if you look at the construction that is taking place in double track schools across the country, and a high school student came here, there are buildings going on at Kumasi High School. So very soon the Ghana Education Service is going to conduct an audit to be able to know which schools will be off double track even in the coming academic year. If you go to Kumasi Secondary Technical School and look at the buildings that have been completed, they are only surprised if Ghana Education Service says that double track is over at KSTS. But let me help you understand that double track enabled more students to go to the top performing schools in the country. If you do not manage it carefully, your grade school, Kumasi High School, will get less students when double track is abolished. Very few students will go to Prempeh, will go to St. Louis, all these top schools, including my favorite school, Jache Pamso Senior High School. All these schools, that's my O-level school. All these schools are not going to get the students that will get advantage or take advantage of the opportunities that they are presenting. So the bottom line is this: it's being managed carefully by the president. Now we have 3 to 5 years, double track will be phased out, but Kumasi High was still taking the number of students they are taking now because you are going to get more buildings. Kumasi High is not going to turn away students who want to come to your school. So this is being managed in such a way that when it's phased out, you still have the students who want to come to Kumasi High School coming there. So that is how the president is doing it. 3 to 5 years, and I'm hopeful that some schools will go next year. So that is good news for, I believe, the Kumasi High School students. Then somebody asks about, are we going to stop borrowing with Ghana Beyond Aid? Of course, when you have Ghana Beyond Aid and revenue is then coming in based on all the projections that happen, you borrow to meet a need, to fill a gap. If you are beyond aid, what is mean? It doesn't mean you don't take support. No. But you get to a point where you have bridged the gap, and therefore you'll be able to make that decision down. This particular case, maybe I don't need the funding. But you also have smart borrowing, as Director was talking about. If you look at what Get Fund is doing, that is smart borrowing. Instead of waiting 10, 15 years to build all the schools, you borrow, you build the schools, you pay it down. Very smart borrowing. You are saving your nation a lot of headache and resources because now you don't have to pay for fluctuations. Those who are doing a economic problem will understand that. There's another question for me beyond free senior high school. Most of people have heard as part of our manifesto that the student loan trust fund is now coming online with a different way of ensuring that students get the money that they need to go to the university. It may surprise you to know that in spite of the existence of the student loan trust fund, only 20% of students in our tertiary institutions are able to borrow. And the simple reason is this: there are some people who want to borrow and go to school, they can't because they don't have an uncle with a pension, an uncle with social security pension program that they are contributing to. And therefore, when they want the money, student loan trust fund turn them away because they don't have somebody who is working with social SNP contribution to guarantee the loan for them. 1988, when they first started this, I was in Republic Hall. I went run and finally got somebody to guarantee the loan for me. And now, some people have had some bad experiences where they guaranteed and they never saw the person that they guaranteed for. So it's difficult for you to go and ask anybody you don't go to guarantee for you. Exactly. But the president now says that all you need is your national ID. You are going to be given the loan to go to the university. And also, the one different thing is that previously, you have to be at the university to apply for the loan. It doesn't make sense. If you don't get to go, how do you get to apply? So those who need the help the most were not even going to the university at all. So now, you can apply before you enter the university. As you apply for the loan, you apply for entry into the university. That is when you vote for my president and we come to power. Because this is contingent upon that. If you don't vote for us, we can't implement that. But if, God willing, we are there and the president is there, it means that going to the university is not going to be a major headache for you. There's a young woman who called me a week ago, Linda. Linda is selling on the street, Kumasi, Atosu Road. She's selling on the street. She's done that for 4 years. Somebody asked her to call me because she is in my constituency, Seria. So she called me up and said, MP, somebody has asked me to call you because you're a good person, you can help me. And I said, what is there? He said, I've been selling on the street for 4 years. I have all credits on the WASI. I have no way of going to the university. Can you help me? I asked her to go to my office. Now we are helping her to go to the university. She's been selling on the street with good grades. So beyond free senior high school, the future is bright under Nana Addo Dankwa. There's also a question about, I think, TVET, but they also asked me to respond to part of it. I'll leave the big portion to Mr. Fred, Dr. Fred. But I'll tell you this. When the student did not raise out their hand, don't be disappointed by it. I visited Kumasi Girls about 6 months ago. And the interesting thing was I walked into a class, 50 girls in a fixers class. I mean, because I've lived in America for so long, I thought if we were doing fixes, we are thinking about engineering. So 50 girls in a fixes class, I said, wow, in my mind, I can get 20 engineers out of this. I asked them, how many of you want to be engineers? No hand went up. And instead of feeling disappointed like one of the speakers said, I was not disappointed. I saw an opportunity. I brought the girls to Accra. I took them to Parliament. I wanted them to see Parliament. Just open their minds to the possibility. After Parliament, we took them to one of the new engineering schools at Hacho, called Academic City. They sat in the engineering laboratories at Academic City, saw the 3D printers at work, and 2 weeks ago, the principal of the school sent me a WhatsApp message, and 24 of the girls have applied to various engineering schools in this country.
Wow.
So we need to do a better job with exposure and with counseling.
Yeah.
So don't be disappointed. A number of them will go to the TVET show, but you need to expose them to it. They can do what they don't know. Engineering is TVET.
It's true.
It is TVET. If you happen to do it at the Kumasi Technical University, there is a TVET, right? If you come to Kano and Kuma University, we don't call it TVET.
It's a degree.
So the bottom line is that there's hope for TVET, and I'm sure after you expose them to it, many of them will say they will do it. By the way, they are doing home economics, and home economics is TVET. So there's hope that we'll get more of them to do that.
Thank you very much, Honorable. We still have some outstandings. Sensitization in basic schools on TVET, and then the issue about mockery, the perception about TVET. I believe, Honorable has touched on it a bit. It falls to you to also add to that. What policies are being put in place to induce participation in TVET? It also borders on that. Where is the connection between TVET and the traditional academic curriculum? Who is responsible for that connection, and what's the role of government?
All right. So if I can come.
Okay.
So just to follow up where the Honorable Deputy Minister ended, anytime there's a challenge, it presents an opportunity. That is why when I said below 5% we're going for TVET, it's not a problem to us, but it's an opportunity for Ghana Beyond Aid to be possible. Where the connection is, government has reviewed its basic curriculum to make it standard-based curriculum. There's a reason for that, so that our young ones can start being innovative, creative, collaborative, and change their perception. The young man that talked about the fact that his teacher was telling him he's sharp, so he has to go to medical school. It's the same across. That is why, as part of the TVET transformation and review, we are piloting with 100 junior secondary schools across the country what we call the Career Guidance and Counseling Project. This is because if you ask a kid in a class, what do you want to do? Most of the time, people will say, I want to be a medical doctor, a pharmacist, or engineer, or pilot. How many planes do we have in Ghana? That almost everybody want to be a pilot. And sometimes even the teachers themselves will discourage the kids because the teachers even don't know the kind of trade areas we are.
Exactly.
As part of the Jobs and Skills Project, government is saying that I'm developing competency-based curriculum for 100 trade areas. These 100 trade areas shouldn't be sitting at Ministry of Education, but to introduce and expose all the young ones to the various trade areas. As I'm talking to you now, today, there's a pilot project going on in one of the towns whereby we are meeting primary school students so that we can see which ones are artistic, which ones are creative. Yes, so that we can start developing them from there. Because at this age, you are being told that only a medical doctor is the best. But how many medical doctors are even happy? In fact, a lot of Legon students who are finishing school right now are going back to makeup artistry, cosmetology, and fashion. The question I ask myself, why is it that now they have so much passion for it, and when they get in there, they are successful, and they are coming out with companies, and they are doing well? What went wrong that they couldn't choose a technical and vocational institution? Why? Because TVET is also a product. And it's how you put and you package your product will make it attractive. So as much as I will be fair to the parents or the young one, government also has to take the lead. So that is why government is saying Ghana Beyond Aid, and TVET is the propeller. So now that we are saying that industry should lead our TVET agenda. If industry is leading, one, we are setting up the stage for the student that is opting for TVET to be successful. The majority of them will come out having employment already. And this study has come out saying when you go to Finland, 50% of their young ones are going for TVET. And most of their young ones going for TVET, the study shows. So if you tell a young one that this is the outcome, there's no way they will choose to go to Legon and after almost 12 years of education, go back again to go and start. So that is the journey that we have started. So the career guidance and counseling is going on. And where do we link the two? With the common core curriculum, government is saying that it's only in Ghana that we try to stop people, you cannot be this, you cannot be this. We should have the opportunity to move both vertical and horizontal. Okay. So with the common core curriculum that is coming, after you go through it, it preps you for you to move everywhere. And so you can either move towards your TVET ladder, which will have the TVET qualification framework, and it starts from proficiency level up to the doctorate level. So as you are there, each of them, the common core, you're all doing the same maths, the same science, the same English. And we can never say those in TVET are the dumb ones. How can you tell me somebody that is able to fix your car? In fact, Richard is here. And we start on the road. And we have to stay there for 2 hours. And the guy that came to fix the car was an ordinary technician. Right? How can you say that person is a dumb and I'm smart? It's never true. That is a smart person. But because it's Ghana Beyond Aid, we are moving towards fourth industrial revolution. And technology is order of the day, and the way we fix cars are going to change. So government is saying that now let's educate and let's introduce our young ones to this common core so everybody can move both vertical and horizontal. There are people who left USC here, these social science, our medical doctors and pharmacists outside. We should give opportunity for all Ghanaians to be successful. Now coming back again, it's about package. So we package TVET well, it will attract and we'll get more than 50% of our young ones to go to TVET. One thing Ghana has been able to do that we should be proud of. In fact, Kenyans were rushing to do it. It's becoming a member of the World Skills International. Ghana being a member of the World Skills International means that in the shortest possible time, people will love to watch our national skills competition better than, I'm not saying I'm from Purple College, I'm not saying maths and science course is bad. But in the next few years, people will love and be more attached to skills competition than the national skills competition, maths and science course. Because this is skill at its best. We just had the zonal skills competition. Probably there wasn't much publicity on it. The national skills competition is coming on next year, first quarter. And the successful students will be representing Ghana in Shanghai after going through the African skills competition. This is the direction Ghana is going. So whoever competes in the skills competition already has jobs. The person that is welding to the highest standard will already have job from the oil and gas industry. The person who is developing IT business solutions on the floor will already have job from the industry. The person who is working on cyber security right on the floor will have jobs. And this is what government is doing to make sure that we consciously market technical and vocational education. It's an opportunity. We are not sad that but that's where we have been. And that gives us, we the current generation, opportunity to turn around. Government has put in all the resources. And now we have seen an increased commitment from government towards infrastructure and most importantly, TVET. Now that technical and vocational education has been free since 2017.
It's an opportunity for all young ones to go for TVET once we expose them to the TVET, because it costs 3 to 4 times to train one TVET graduate compared to normal graduate. But this government did not shy away and say technical vocational education is free. And what is he doing again? Is to back it with a legal document. That is why we passed already the Education Regulatory Bodies Act. That is helping to realign all tertiary TVET institutions to the Ministry of Education. Then, of course, in addition, the pre-tertiary education bill, which we are hoping that it will pass soon, has 2 portions, the general education and the TVET. So we have a completely dedicated agency that will look at delivery of TVET at the pre-tertiary level, so that we link it directly with the industry. These are the opportunities that have been presented to us, and we believe we will take advantage of it.
Doc, I have some questions, but let me reserve that. I think it's important that Dr. Eric Yeboah comes in with an intervention. But let me ask, now that you've heard all of this, how many of you want to still be doctors and engineers? How many of you want to go into technical vocations? And so, Doc, the floor is yours.
Thank you. There was a question on borrowing and Ghana Beyond Aid. To begin with, borrowing is not a bad thing, and it is part of our economic development. The question is, what are you using the borrowed funds for? I'll just use one example to illustrate. We are described as a country of agriculture. However, our food import bill in 2016, for example, if you look at the top 8 items we import to consume: rice, fish, poultry, fruit juice, vegetables, oil, sugar, and the likes, amounted to $2.3 billion US. In the same year, our total receipts from the sale of cocoa on the world market was $2.3 billion US. So to put it in simple sense, we battered our cocoa for fried rice and chicken. Essentially, that is what we did. Now, a government steps in and says that, look, we need to be self-reliant on as far as food production is concerned. So there you have it, planting for food and jobs. If you have to borrow to make planting for food and job work, you have to do that. And look at what the effect is going to be. We import rice minimum $1.3 billion per annum. Through interventions such as planting for food and jobs, there is a systematic reduction in the import bill as far as rice and other food items are concerned. And the target is to be self-sufficient in rice by 2023, for example. You borrowed to invest in planting for food and job, but look at the cumulative effect. You are going to be self-reliant in rice and in other food items. That is a savings of minimum $1 billion of rice imports per annum. We've not even talked about the job creation along the entire value chain. So borrowing is relevant if you are using it in productive areas which have multiplier effect. As well, the outcomes of your investment from the borrowing should begin to force you downwards, because what are you doing? You are becoming more self-reliant. But of course, that is even together with the value addition we are doing, adding value to our cocoa, getting more from that, adding value to our bauxite, our iron ore, and the rest. So essentially, these interventions are going to make more resources available to us. And like I said earlier on, aid or borrowing or all these things are functions of resource, and if there are gaps, that's when you need to borrow or you need aid to shore up. But if you can mobilize through all these sources and channels, then you will have to rely on your own. And so borrowing is important, but it depends on what you're using it for, and I think this government is using it for the right purpose. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Very necessary intervention. But Doc, you come from the area of strategic investments and all of that. Walk through how we can make education affordable in Ghana, especially beyond the Ghana, beyond the free SHS, and particularly for our postgraduate education. That was a question that was asked.
Okay, thank you, moderator. I will come back to the borrowing.
Okay.
Because the present government, in our manifesto for 2020, post secondary education, with through the student loan trust, we are going to give students the opportunity to borrow and then fund their education. Like the minister was saying, there's somebody who is selling on the Atonsu Road. No money to go into the tertiary sector. When you borrow, you can what? Educate yourself. And then come out with what? A degree. So that is an aspect of what? Wise borrowing. It's not all borrowing that is not good. It is only in the subsector, the sub-Saharan subsector, that we find people finishing school, they get a job, and they have to save till their kingdom come to buy a car. And surprisingly, they will buy a second-hand car, and it will not take them anywhere. In the foreign countries, you finish school and you can borrow. They call it mortgage, but it's a form of borrowing. And then you get your new car, and then you start driving. At a tender age, you can get a car. Ghanaians, we use hard cash to buy cars. So that is a form of what? Borrowing. Do you get it? It is a wiser borrowing. All that we need to do is to put systems into play so that we can do what? Wise borrowing. So for the person who asked the question about after free SHS, what else? There is this avenue that comes in. There is also a second one which Get Fund and then Scholarship Secretariat are into. And I told you that that is what most of you would like us to discuss. We sponsor students, brilliant students, to go and then do their first degree and then postgraduate and then PhD courses. But I'll come to the TVET question that was asked, and then I'll add my voice to whatever the previous speaker on. For the TVET, Get Fund is helping in the infrastructure, and we are building the state-of-art infrastructure. We're making TVET schools be more attractive. In Ghana, I think it is only KTI that has Kumasi Technical Institute, that has a school that when you just get into the school, you see that the environment allows you to maybe have the edge to go into it. The TVET that we are building is one of the highest class. When you enter those schools, you even feel proud to be associated with that school. Schools like Prempeh College, Achimota School, and all those, it's their infrastructure that somebody will tell you that I have a bridge in my school and all those things. It has a class, and we are helping COVET to put up these new structures so that you'll be glad to associate yourself with some of those schools. Somebody will ask you, which school are you attending? just the school, the environment will let you feel happy to belong to that. I will say that I'm a product of TVET. Most of you don't know. You sit here and then you ask yourself, hey, so you have the mentality that TVET is what? FITA. Somebody will call what? FITA or something of that sort. I was a teacher at Prep College. I taught chemistry. During that time, I did wood technology and management at KLUST.
Wow.
And I went into the timber industry after Prep College, worked over there. At age 35, I had already set up my own company. I employed 40 at the peak, 40 workers in that company. I was at that time paying people, and most of my friends were in the public sector, and I had employed people that I would pay. The furniture, doors, and all those things that I were doing comes as a result of what? TVET. So don't sit here and then think that TVET has no future. It is something that I did, and I was able to employ people and then pay. And that has been my backbone till I am here currently. So don't be, you think that, for technical school is nothing good, for technical school is nothing good. Go outside the country and you see that there are people that are paid the highest. Even you can be a medical doctor, you can be a lawyer, you can be, but go outside. You find out that it's what? It's the skill will let you have money every day. Yeah, thank you.
So I'll come back to the panel on your closing thoughts, but do we have a few more questions? Yes, sir. Please step to the mic. I see an army at the back. Whoa. Hey. Okay. You know what will happen? We're going to take only 5 because of time.
I think we check this one.
Is there a WhatsApp line? Is there a WhatsApp line?
I don't need to touch any video.
And so, we can only take 5 because of time. However, we would allow you to ask your questions and then we'll respond on a WhatsApp platform that we're just about to create. Is that fair? So please, straight to the point, ask your questions, we'll note your questions, and then we'll answer them through a WhatsApp platform that we'll create. Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Oswelan. I'm president for Private University Student Association of Ghana. My question goes to Get Fund Administrator. It is evident clear that he's doing well when it comes to infrastructure, but
could you please speak up?
When you look at it from the private university side, you don't see massive of such infrastructure, and we can attest to the fact that the free SHS graduates, the only alternative available for them is the private universities, because under no circumstance can the public university absorb all, and everybody here wants free SHS to be sustained. And with this, I want to find out the plan that it has for private universities. Thank you very much.
The absence of infrastructure in private universities, what has Get Fund got to do with that? Thank you. Next question.
Please.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Before I go with my question, colleague students, let's help me say thank you to Dr. Edukim. I think those responding to questions, he's the only person that has answered the question with a smile.
Now you're being political. God punish you. Continue with your question.
But Doc, since I started with you, let me also continue with you. When you were responding to a question on the student loan, you said that effective next year, should the president be maintained, people will have access to the student loan without going through the stress they go through today because of the Ghana car system. I I have read from the media and I've heard government communicators say that those who completed SHS this year have an opportunity to enjoy free tertiary education because they wouldn't have to struggle in getting funds to pay for their fees, but through the loan system they can pay. I'm asking, are we going to have a system that those entering senior tertiary institutions effective next academic year will have a loan that will cater for the admission fee, or they will have to fund the admission and then apply whilst in school before they get the loan?
Thank you very much.
Now, that is just a side question.
We can't take, we can't take more
just
than
one, please. Just one. This is my major.
Make it straight to the point, please.
Yes. I'm referring you, Doc, again to Inclusive Education Policy Statement, document 2015. And then the policy seeks to address the challenges of persons with disabilities, and then including orphans. I am asking, government has constructed schools, we have hospitals and what have you. We are looking for a Ghana beyond aid. Doc, are we putting up schools, or the schools that we have constructed, the dormitories we have, the classrooms, are they disability friendly?
Thank you.
Thank you. Please, I'm Stephen Fosu Menu, Grassak, KNUST. Please, Doc, we grew up to meet the science resource centers at the various SHS. Visual arts, home economics, they equally do practicals. Are we having plans to establish and stock studios of visual arts to make them functioning than focusing much on the TVET for the various selected areas? That's one. Two, please, Doc, how are we helping teachers to shaping the lifestyle of the attitude of the free SHS students? How are we helping teachers to shaping the lifestyle of free SHS students?
Thank you very much.
And then
no, we can't take, I'm sorry. We must take from the back, please. I beg you.
But
don't be a liver twist. I beg you. Just, let's do that too.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. My name is Roland Quay from UPSC. And first of all, I would like to thank the government for the efforts being made to improve the TVET in the country. And I pray that the good people of Ghana will give them the mandate to do more come next year and beyond. Now, my question is, there is TVET, the TVET education in this country that we are all looking at as one that is going on in the classroom and the lab formally. But there is another TVET education that we also ought to look at, and that is the one going on informally at the magazine that is Kumasi, then Kokumpi and the rest. How do we fine-tune the relationship between the two, that is the formal and the informal TVET education, to make sure that we provide an education that is unique and that will help the Ghana beyond aid? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ismail Mohammed, Grassak UDS. I have two questions. The first question is premised on the theme for today's sitting. That is education at the heart of attaining Ghana beyond aid, taking stock of our progress, looking into the future. If I listen keenly to the address by the Honorable Senior Minister, he mentioned the need for attitudinal change on the part of the Ghanaian citizen. My question is, we all know we have three different categories of education: formal, non-formal, informal. What is the position of Ghana beyond aid on the other two kinds or categories of education, apart from the formal education? The second question has to do with, we all know that Ghana beyond aid is supposed to be a working policy, a policy that is embraceable by all Ghanaians and abroad. My question is, how is Ghana Beyond Aid able to streamline the activities and the understanding of the normal, ordinary Ghanaian who has not been to school? How are we able to carry them along to embrace the policy, to see to its proper implementation and adaptation in the country? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Abdul Salam Mohammed, University of Ghana. Okay, so my question has to do with education in the technological field and agriculture. I think today's discussion has a bit shifted from what I was expecting because, like my good doctor mentioned, food is an essential commodity that is very important. And anybody that controls your stomach would automatically control you. So I want to know what the government is doing in terms of agricultural education, in terms of policy and infrastructure. And the second aspect of it is technology in the field of IT. What is the government also doing in terms of policy and infrastructure to enable students who are also venturing into the technological field have access to some of these programs and policies that the TVET students are enjoying? Thank you very much.
You sure it's not a long essay question you want us to give you answers? Okay.
All right, thank you very much. My name is Amin Mohammed from Institute of Business Management and Journalism. My question is on TVET and agriculture, but I'm looking at the students' interest aspect. When I was a kid coming up in school, I realized that there was a course at the JSS level at that time called Life Skills. Coming up, we realized that Life Skills was cancelled. And it has been, inculcated into other subjects like science and agriculture and other stuffs. But once again, we realize that students are losing interest when we talk of TVET and agriculture. Madam Wachi Yadom of the National Curriculum and Assessment of the Ghana Education Service stated that the number of students who take the courses in agriculture and TVET has been decreasing gradually and annually.
Wow.
So yes, that was in 2017, and since then I've kept my check and it has really been decreasing. What are we doing to get the interest of the students first? Because as you can see, you ask people to raise their hands and nobody raised their hand. What are we doing to make sure that students are interested in the TVET and agriculture first before we can implement whatever that needs to be done? Thank you.
Okay. The interesting thing about all the questions that are coming forth is that you all seem to be revolving around a common area. So we'll take 3 more and then finally we shall revert to our panel.
All right, thank you very much. My name is Hussein Badar Ibrahim, the National Treasurer-elect for Ghana National Union of Technical Students, JUNUT, a former SRC Treasurer for Kumasi Technical University. Thank you very much. Talking about TVET, the attention has been on the purely technical and vocational institutions. Okay, my question is, what is government plans of expanding the infrastructure in the secondary technical institutions? You know, we have the second cycle institution who offer both technical courses and then secondary courses like Master Secondary Technical School or my own school, Armed Forces Senior High Technical School. What is government plans of expanding the technical infrastructure in those institutions? And then also I would like to make these suggestions. There are people in the various technical institutions or the various technical universities who have ideas or innovation to bring on board. Some of these ideas are even brought up. We launch them and then that's all. Example, Kumasi Technical University, formerly Kumasi Polytechnic, invented an electrical car, invented a fufu pounding machine, and so on. But however, after launching of these products or these innovations, it ends there because the institution or the individuals do not have resources to expand the production of these things they produce. So I will humbly suggest that government should come in and help these people or these institutions who are able to invent, okay, who are able to create or produce certain things. Let's help them expand their production. If they're able to expand their production, they create employment. It will curb unemployment rate in the country. If they're able to expand, we will sell, we will get revenue in the country. We can even export them, which will give us foreign exchange. And then also the workers will pay taxes, which will help us generate revenue for the country.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, sir.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Please, Ebenezer Opoku-Mensah, the SRC President of CK Tedem University of Technology and Applied Sciences, Navrongo.
Okay.
My question is, in May, the Navrongo campus of UDS and the Wa campus of UDS became an autonomous university. And I know of Kumasi campus of UUW2 and a new university too in Somenya. So what is the ministry doing to promote these universities? Because I'm the president, I get access to those who have applied so far. Even though our application is free, you don't have to buy any form, but the turnout is very low. So what is the government doing to promote these new universities? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. So we shall take the last but one and then the very last one.
Good afternoon. My name is Evans Thompson, UPSA. I believe we've chosen a very good theme, education at the heart of attaining Ghana Beyond 8. I also believe that quality education is more like the nourishment that the entire education system needs. I listened very carefully and heard the senior minister, the revered Honorable Safo, when he mentioned that in 7 years, we've now recorded the highest ever grade or aggregate in, when it comes to core mathematics.
Is there a question or a suggestion?
Yes, that's the preamble.
Please, we don't need preamble. Shoot straight to your question. Exactly. We have 20 minutes to wrap up this entire experience.
Thank you very much. There was a statement issued by NUGS, National Union of Ghana Students, the body in whose name all students here are congregated. And they said that hold WAEC responsible for 2020 WASIC leaks. My question touches on how we assess students, because if we put in all the measures.
What is the question? Please, what's the question?
Free SHS and our mode of assessing the students are flawed. Because in the same statement...
Senior, what is your question?
The question is...
Yes.
How, or with the SHS students... No.
So you know, how do we assess you? What is the question? Simple.
No, I've laid the foundation. Maybe you should just allow me. How do we think we can tweak the minds of SHS students to believe in Ghana Beyond 8?
Thank you. That's the question.
If they believe that they have to get some unglorified aid.
Forget all
when it comes to examination.
Forget all the elaborations. That's the question. Thank you very much. A round of applause for him. Please, you have the...
Thank you. My name is Yusuf Suleiman, postgraduate student of this very institution and the FC of National Grassack. When it comes to knowledge and understanding at the basic level and second cycle, teachers are very excellent in impacting this. But the application of this knowledge and understanding is a problem. So I want to say, as we seek to achieve Ghana Beyond 8, we should have a system whereby at the basic and second cycle institution, we get teachers who can teach the application of the knowledge. That's very fundamental. But the point is, when these teachers get the opportunity to get a higher education, that will enable them to teach the application. That's when they lead to a higher education, like the tertiary institution. The whole fundamental thing is a teacher will never receive a salary of a minister, but we should have a system. And I want to ask the Honorable Minister, for example, we made mention of the mortgage system. So if this teacher having a PhD, teaching at the basic level, knows that his future is secured and that of his family, he wants to stay there rather than wanting to go to a tertiary institution.
Thank you very much.
So the question is, Ghana Beyond 8, what role or how are we putting the teacher at the center of educational development? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for all Our questions thus far. Oh, my guy.
One more.
If one more, then must be a lady at the back. Madam, you have the last one, and then we are off. MTN Yellow, take it away.
Good afternoon. My name is Deborah Yariga, Jemta National Women's Commissioner. My question is based on the nursing fraternity. Basically, what we have noticed is that at the nursing sector, the NAC and the NAP especially, and then the diploma, when you are done with school and you are being posted, you have to serve for a period of years before you would be permitted to further your education. But for this time around, we have also been educated that you will be able to further your education after your certificate or your diploma certificate. But when you are being posted with your degree, even though you didn't serve for the number of years which you are supposed to serve, when you are being posted, you will not be recognized as a degree nurse, which is bothering most of we the nurses. And we want to plead to the government and the leaders that something should be done about this, so that if a nurse is able to further his or her education after a certificate program, he will be recognized at the nursing institution. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And since there's only one lady standing, we'll give it to you.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm Giftinana Asen, a student journalist at IBMNJ, that's Institute of Business Management and Journalism. My question is, with Ghana Beyond Age, what are some of the daunting challenges the initiative is facing, and what is the government or the authorities doing to curb or reduce such issues? Thank you.
Straight to the point. Thank you. Please, a round of applause for her. Wow. Lots of issues raised. Doc, let's start with you. Your picks. Microphone, please.
Wow, a lot of questions.
A raft of issues.
Yeah, I think there was a number of them. I've taken a lot of notes. Give me a minute. I'll begin from where I started taking the notes. Yeah, there was a young man who was talking about WAEC and leakages. And if children think they can cheat in an exam, how do you get a country beyond? It's a very, very important question. I think there was a question about changing attitudes. But you see, in education, there are three things that take place. There's something that we call the explicit curriculum. That is what you go to learn. There's also something called the no curriculum. Important things that you may never be taught if you don't join a club or read yourself. Issues about Pan-Africanism and other empowerment opportunities, the no curriculum. One most important curriculum that you don't hear about is what is called the hidden curriculum. Nobody teaches you the hidden curriculum. You pick it up yourself through norms, values, and procedures. And sometimes in our part of the world, the hidden curriculum is even more profound than the explicit curriculum. I visited a number of schools where after I addressed the students, various high schools, after I addressed the students, during the course of my speech, when they hear my story, going to America and coming back, they will clap. When I finished and I asked them, do you have any question for me? Nobody will raise their hand. They have been socialized to think that when the teacher speaks, that is it. They've been socialized to think that when the teacher is talking, you take notes. And at the time of the exams, you give it back to the teacher. So our students are not willing to verbalize and be assertive and communicate their ideas. So in as much as we want them to be engineers and do TVET, if we do not improve the hidden curriculum, if we do not get the students to be respectfully assertive, to offer their suggestions and to allow the teachers to also understand that the views of the students are very important. Going to Ghana beyond 8 becomes a problem because you see, the best engineer is not the person who can just understand what engineering about, but the person who can ask the right questions and has good listening skills, so that when the client is talking, the person keeps quiet and hear the client. And that is an acculturation process we have to have in our school system. So yes, if we do not stop cheating on exams, it defeats the purpose of attitudinal change that will bring about the Ghana Beyond 8. If you can cheat on the exams, you have been told that when you go to work, you can also cheat on the system. So that is why my personal, this is not a ministry position, but I believe that WAEC have to look at the best practices that is done around the world. In California, before we went online testing, we printed about 15 versions of the same test. So when you're sitting next to your friend, your questions are different. And even when the questions were the same, my question 1 is your question 20. And within the multiple choice, my answer is B and yours is C. So if some teachers go and hide somewhere to come and help you, they cannot answer all the 15 versions. And I think that's why we need to make it impossible for every student, for no student to cheat. It should be impossible. So when I think that the questioner was saying that we need to educate the children to know that they will not cheat. Children will be children everywhere you find them. If you give the opportunity, they will cheat. But we should make it impossible for anybody to cheat. And I think that is where we should head, so that we can stand by cheating. You see, if we can allow cheating to take place in schools, we cannot produce the right caliber of people that will take Ghana beyond 8. Because if you can cheat, good relationship. Teachers don't have to teach. During the exams, will help you. So the students will also say, oh, the teachers are going to help us. And that is why you heard on the last exams, students went on a rampage because they were expecting certain questions to come. Are you serious? Going on rampage because you were not allowed to cheat? We need to get to that day where nobody has the opportunity to cheat, because we've actually stamped it out altogether, and I can't wait to see that day, and hopefully it will come soon. Yes. Now, STEM. Artificial intelligence, coding, there was a question about how do we do that. The government is building, as I speak with you, 20 STEM centers across the country. And that will give you the opportunity, those of you into STEM, you get the same opportunity as those who are doing science and they have their labs. So I think that is going to be taken care of. There was a question about TKTM, university. I think by standing here and talking about your school, you are promoting the school to all the students who want to come there. Your board can do a better job giving your school publicity so that more students can apply to the school. I think those were questions that, I think there was something about teacher training. I think this person probably has gone to College of Education. We were talking about teachers are teaching at the level of knowledge and understanding, and the moment they are prepared or they are equipped to teach at application, they leave. Now you see, application is not the highest level. It is creation that is the highest level. The new Bloom's taxonomy has knowledge and understanding as the lowest level. Then you go to application, you go to evaluation and analysis, the highest level is creation. So instead of asking students to talk about the causes of pollution and why pollution is bad to their health, you should ask them to come together and form groups and create a city without pollution. That is the highest level of learning. And that is where our curriculum should be heading. And yes, I can understand the situation that you described, but I also have opportunity now for new teachers to have a bachelor's degree. So the frustration that accompanies people with a diploma and now they have to go and pay to do top up and all those things are now over. Those who are going to third year of College of Education, whether they're going to teach at KG or primary school, will have a bachelor's degree. And see, what the president has done, which is unique, is that after agreeing to bring back the teacher's allowance, he could have said, I can do allowance for 3 years, but he decided to do allowance for 4 years so that you can get your bachelor's degree. So these are the things that we're doing for new teachers and current teachers, professional development beginning next year. You are going to have opportunity to advance yourself, whether you want to become a counselor, you want to become a school administrator. These are things that are coming. And these are things that the government is doing, I think, because of the time.
Yes.
In 5 minutes.
Yes, I'll just pick on 2 or 3 of the questions. I'll first start with the question regarding informal and the formal sector. When we come to the industry, there's no formal or informal. If my vehicle has broken down, it's not about being formal or informal. It's about service or it's about product. That is why government is saying that our TVET agenda can only be successful when the industry leads it. So the industry should come in and lead the whole process. As I'm talking to you right now, government has developed a draft apprenticeship policy, national apprenticeship policy, that will relate the work that goes on in the formal or informal sector so that we can formalize our economy. A Ghana beyond aid is a formalized economy so that we can do everything based on standard, because we cannot live in Ghana alone. We are in a global village whereby we work with everybody across the continent. So we cannot say that service being provided by the auto mechanics and magazine should be a different standard when the economy or the industry is asking for another standard. Wow. That is why the National Apprenticeship Policy, when approved, will formalize most of these things. With the National TVET Qualification Framework, we are also implementing the recognition of prior learning. So if you come from the informal sector, you've learned how to sew on your own, we need to assess and see what kind of skills you have. As the minister said, the highest form of learning is creativity. So if somebody is creative enough and can learn some things on own, we don't need to waste your time to go through that kind of training again. We need to recognize your prior skills, then the gaps can be filled, so we formalize the system. So with the Ghana Beyond Aid, we are formalizing the entire system, but not to refer to some people as informal and some people as formal. And that is where the TVET direction is going. Regarding agriculture and ICT, if you look at the sectors that government decided to conduct skill gap analysis, one of them is agriculture and one of them is ICT. And for the sector skill bodies that we have established and inaugurated, the first 3 includes agriculture. And with the realignment of TVET institutions to the Ministry of Education, all the agri colleges that are the Ministry of Agri are coming to Ministry of Education. All the agri institutes are also coming to Ministry of Education. You realize that the Agri Institute, those that go to Agri Institute, there's no progression for them. They get stuck. With the realignment, they can progress on the qualification framework, and we are insisting on making sure that all these institutions use competency-based training. With the competency-based training, 70% of what you are learning is on the field, is on the job. So if I'm an Agri student on level 4, I spend 70% of my time on the field. So I don't come back to come and sit in an office to say that I'm looking for a government job. Because I'm used to 70% being in the field and helping people, I came out creating my own job or helping the local farmer to move to the next level. We are talking about importing poultry and rice and the rest. If we can improve and we don't have extension officers but more dignified positions and recognized on the qualification framework, as well as by the industry. People will get a better pay because the industry also understand them. They know their worth and what they are contributing to their sector, so they can enjoy remuneration better. So they won't think about moving to other places.
Doc, we'll just have to hold it there. Thank you. Mr. Wedu, in 3 minutes, please. Your take.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. I think two questions were directed towards me, and one, it's something that I can speak about. The one being the infrastructure in the private schools, and then if the projects that we are doing are disability friendly, and then one on the student loan trust, the loans that are being given. For the private school, that is something that is a policy directive, and at that fund we implement policies. Okay. So I cannot at this time speak about projects that should be moved to the private school. Presently, we are doing the public school. I think it's got to do with the something that's got to do with we are not in the position to do that. So let's leave it like that. I think it's part of the Constitution. There is a line that talks clearly about private entities. That's why we are doing only on public schools. But you can put it forward through the ministry, and then they look at it. On the student loan trust, because GetFund has a representation on their board, I will speak to how the person asks a question asking if the money will be given upfront before they go to school, or is it going to be after? I'm taking the practical point of view, because we also give scholarship to students, which is also a sort of funding. It goes in a process. Let's Legon, for instance, they are taking in new students application. I think the deadline is tomorrow or so. The award letters come, and then we open, and they have to apply. It takes about a month, 2 or 3, before we give them the award letter. By that time, if the university is asking you to make a deposit, and you are waiting for GetFund to give you that letter, by the time the letter comes, you'll be out of the university. So for the loan, student loan trust, it's the same thing. It takes a time before you'll be able to access it. So okay. So I will advise you at the starting point where you are entering. Where you are entering, if you can find something, I think it will be better. Unless the policy changes. Yeah, unless the policy changes. And I think the minister can talk to the policy.
So in a short while, we wrap up this experience with the senior minister. He will share his final thoughts. But Sandra, you have your final remarks on this panel. Let's have the mic.
Okay. So if you are
The only thing I have to say is that I would entreat my colleagues as well as everyone to take the TVET very seriously, since looking forward into the future, we know that it's one of the major things that is going to help us. So I would say that I would tell my colleagues not to shy away from it, but then take it into consideration, because looking at the TVET, that is where the money maker is. So why don't we look there, and at the end of the day, we will all say that we have been able to get to the Ghana Beyond Aid dream. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It falls to the Senior Minister, our guest of honor, to share the final remarks and to bring closure to this whole discourse. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. I think I'm so impressed with the various questions asked and where people are coming from with their questions. And the moderator, you've been excellent. I would want to fill you in with what has happened in respect of preparing the documentation of Ghana Beyond Aid. When it was announced, we received about 30 documentation from various Ghanaian institutions. All the professional bodies in Ghana gave us some thoughts and their views about Ghana Beyond Aid. We received a number of contributions from Ghanaians outside Ghana. That was the most impressive part of the whole thing. Ghanaians show so much interest on this Ghana Beyond Aid. So we received papers from the US, from Germany, from UK on their views about Ghana Beyond Aid. So when we finished our first draft, we also decided to do consultation so that we identify challenges. So as a group, our first draft, we went to the Council of State to discuss with the Council of State. We went to the National House of Chiefs to discuss our thoughts, the National House of Chiefs. We invited all civil societies to a forum and discussed with the civil society. We met all the faith-based organizations, the Christian Council, the Muslim Council, everybody, to share our views on them. Now, Ghana Beyond Aid has been interpreted by some development partners that Ghana is not interested in aid. And therefore, immediately, we have to meet all development partners from the World Bank to every country and to say, no, Ghana Beyond Aid is not saying that we are not interested in aid. We are saying that we must develop such that we can exist without the aid. But if anybody wants to give us aid, we will welcome it. We made it very clear, and the development partners were very happy. But at first, they were a little confused about the way we had put it. And we want to emphasize, Ghana Beyond Aid is not that Ghana is against getting aid or support from any other country. The biggest borrower of this whole world is America. No country lives without borrowing. So when we talk about aid or borrowing, it's commingled. We take from each other. But you cannot want to develop based on aid coming from other people. I want to give you one interesting example of the need for us to also depoliticize the Ghana Beyond Aid. And this is what we try to do. So we met all the political parties and discussed the Ghana Beyond Aid with them. We have discussed with the leadership of Parliament. We are trying to get a document to Parliament so that it will be owned not by the committee, but be owned by Ghana. Ghana Beyond Aid is a thought, and everybody should buy by it. The principles are right, and it is apolitical, and I think that is very, very important. But the bottom line is, it's a development, Mr. Moderator. Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, the two countries, we produce 60% of the world cocoa. 60% of the world cocoa. And we earn $5.5 billion, the two countries, from selling our cocoa beans to the world. The chocolate industry has a turnover money of $120 billion. So though we produce 60% of the world cocoa, we are getting about 5% of the whole business of the industry that depends on our raw materials. So it means the way forward is value addition. We must add value to our raw materials. We cannot continue to be selling things raw. When you add value as a way of development, then you are providing employment. If you buy chocolate from outside, you are virtually not providing jobs to your own people. You are paying for other people's labor. You must avoid that. So the way to go is value addition, is to industrialize. It's the transformation of the economy. It's to make sure that you feed yourself. How do you use your total cocoa export to pay for chicken and fish and rice import? How? Your total cocoa export is just about enough to pay for the importation of food when you can produce the same food yourself. So you've got to change the dynamics of managing the economy and make sure that you take all these steps. And to me, that is Ghana Beyond Aid, rationalizing the way you manage the economy and making sure that you guarantee a prosperous future for the youth. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, a resounding round of applause for our guest of honor, the Senior Minister of the Republic, the Honorable Yao Osafo-Mafo. And this is where I say many thanks to my very amazing panelists, Dr. Yao Osei-Duchum, Deputy Minister of Education. A round of applause. Let's hear it up for Dr. Fred Che Asamoah, the CEO of COTVET. Mr. Richard Wedu is the admin of the GET Fund, and Sandra Boateng is the president of the Greater Accra Students Representative Council. A round of applause for all of them. It is evident, please be seated. It is evident that this is just the beginning. There is more in terms of the dialogue. But once we've come to that realization that the Ghana Beyond Aid is nothing short of a change in values, mindsets, all for sustainable development, I believe we've set in motion something which posterity, this generation and posterity, will be proud of. I'm told we have a great friend of ours who is here to say thank you to the Senior Minister and to all the partners who have made this possible. Ladies and gentlemen, if it pleases you, please welcome, just a minute. Mr. Echo Vincent, former PRO of the Ghana Education Service and now a parliamentary contestant. A round of applause as he comes. After which we shall have group photographs. I shall be calling various groups and individuals to come for. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Echo Vincent for the vote of thanks.
Thank you. Well, I'm also an alumni of Kenya University. The senior minister was happy to say that he was a student from Kenya University and also a resident of Indies Hall. So if he was proud about Indies Hall, then I will be prouder to have been from Conti. Senior Minister, today I am very happy about the issues that have been discussed here. Ordinarily, having my deputy minister and all my bosses here, I shouldn't have said anything again. But it is important to state that, or it is important to ask this question. Why is it that countries like Taiwan, countries like Japan, countries like Singapore, when you compare their natural resources to that of Ghana, Ghana is doing much better than them. But they are able to simulate the best of developmental stories across the world. It tells you something. What it tells you is that they are doing something right which we are not doing. And largely, it can be contributed to the fact that they have taken education as one of the pivotal roles of these Asian tigers to be able to develop their country. I have no doubt that His Excellency the President Nana Akufo-Addo have shown similar commitment since 2017 to date. that we are improving on human capital so that we'll be able to have the necessary skill set to develop our nation, so that Ghana can indeed move beyond aid. I'm grateful to the Almighty God for giving us this opportunity for us to have this program. We are grateful to him that for the past 3 to 4 hours, we've had a very successful program. We are most grateful to the Senior Minister, the Honorable Osafo Mafo, for being the special guest of honor and giving us a powerful speech, a powerful insight as to what the government is doing in terms of education. We are also grateful to the Deputy Minister of Education, Dr. Yawose Educhum, the GET Fund boss, the Codvet CEO. Today happens to be his birthday. I actually sent him a message this morning around 6 a.m. Saying a happy birthday to him. So today is one of his best days, and with a kind of insight that he has also thrown as far as TVET is also concerned, we are also grateful to him. Once again, we are also grateful to the organizers for the program, especially Nooks, for such hard work that they put to make sure that this program becomes a success. We are also grateful to everybody in here who came to support, especially our free SHS beneficiaries who came to also learn something about what the government is doing in terms of education. Tomorrow, so what is Apoko Bonwa na Nooks and the government of Ghana and the Damwase, some of us are Jumeji. We are grateful to all of you. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear that for the parliamentary candidate, I beg you, former PR for the Ghana Education Service, is there, Call Vincent. Thank you for thanking us so much. I always say, Sankofadi Ayenchi, and then yes, okay, it's for this reason that I'm pleased to invite back on stage our senior minister as he makes a presentation to all our speakers. Please welcome him warmly as he comes. Senior Minister, it's my pleasure to invite up to receive this plaque the Deputy Minister of Education, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Yao Osei Educhum. And this is from the to share knowledge with us on this great event. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause. Okay. Honorable, would you be kind as to please join us here? We'll take a group photograph, please. Honorable Senior Minister, let me invite also to receive this plaque the birthday boy, the CEO of Codvet, Dr. Fred Cheya Samwa. A round of applause. We say many thanks to you. I'm told we have a special birthday one for you. Oh, okay. We say many thanks to you, Dr. Fred Cheya Samwa. Please join Dr. Educhum here. Honorable Senior Minister, the Administrator of the GET Fund, Mr. Richard Bwedu. Thank you, sir. And finally, the President of the Greater Accra Student Representative Councils, Sandra Boateng. I shall now invite you all to please join the Senior Minister right here in the middle. Respectfully, let's join the Senior Minister in the middle for a photograph, a group photograph. And while you're at that, let me invite the SRC president, together with Dr. Eric Yeboah, to please join them. The third shot will be all SRC executives. All NUCs, I beg your pardon, NUCs executives, all NUCs executives. And finally, all SRC presidents and student body groups, leaders of the various student body groups, and all SRC presidents, please join. Just representatives. Now we have to do family planning. Okay. Okay, are we all in the shot? Okay, please stay behind, everybody please stay behind. Honorable Senior Minister, have you taken a selfie before, please? You have your phone here. Have you taken a selfie before? I'll show you how you do it. As young people, this is what we do, right? So ladies and gentlemen, let's all rise with our phones in our hands, turn your cameras on, and please turn with your backs facing the Senior Minister and the entire crew on stage. The Senior Minister is going to take a selfie for the first time in his life, and we're going to help him do that. Are we ready? So when I say Ghana Beyond Aid, you are going to say toward a wiser Ghana. Are we ready? Oh, come on, are you ready? As many as can, please turn your backs to face us. Are we good to go? Okay. Honorable Senior Minister, are you ready? Okay. And so Ghana Beyond Aid, toward a wiser Ghana. Ghana Beyond Aid. Ghana Beyond Aid. Ghana Beyond Aid. Now select the best out of the three with the hashtag Ghana Beyond Aid and the hashtag toward a better Ghana. Send the message out there on all social media platforms. This is how we begin our move toward a wiser, inclusive, sustainable, empowered and resilient Ghana. Let's all rise as we recite the pledge to affirm our faith and hope in this country.
They have flags so they can wave it after the pledge. And then, of course, when the seniors leave, the students will go one after everybody will go. The food will take it at them.
Ladies and gentlemen, the pledge. If we're ready. We're not good. Hello. 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 And now the pledge. I promise on my honor to be faithful and loyal to Ghana, my motherland. I pledge myself to the service of Ghana with all my strength and with all my heart. I promise to hold in high esteem our heritage won for us through the blood and toil of our fathers. And I pledge myself in all things to uphold and defend the good name of Ghana. So help me God. May God bless the Ghana Beyond Aid. May God bless our homeland and make her great and strong. Shall we please remain standing as the Senior Minister, together with his entourage, take leave of us. We shall all remain as we were handed our refreshments in packs. So please be seated after the Senior Minister departs from us. gentlemen, please be seated. And so, ladies and gentlemen, it's finally over. I believe you're leaving here with great knowledge, great wisdom about the Ghana Beyond Aid. Your refreshments will be served to you shortly. All those outside, please make your way in. If you don't come in, you're not getting your refreshments. Please. And so let's just wait for a little while. We'll all be handed our refreshments. My name is Jerry Ajololo, and I thank you for the pleasure of your company.